We bounce over in third gear through the Anderson Bridge. Whoa, Shades of Massa 2012. Carlos Sainz, I'm a big fan of your work, mate. What a performance. The last 2 weekends from Carlos have been insane, and he's on pole yet again. Back-to-back race weekends for Carlos on pole. Monza and Singapore, completely different circuits, and delivering when it matters the most. So, a great qualifying, really enjoyable. It's nice to see Red Bull having trouble for a change and having a bit more of a mixed up grid, and a bit more unpredictability. Mercedes looks pretty decent. McLaren, of course, in the hands of Norris's upgraded car. Ferrari, it was a lot more fun and something different. Now, the race should be even closer based off the Friday race sims. Anyway, pole lap this time, guys, is Carlos Sainz, a 1 minute 30.984, if I'm not mistaken. So the only man to dip below a 1:31. So today we are going to try and beat his lap in the Ferrari SF23 around, of course, the new Singapore layout. So let's see if we can achieve that goal. Of course, the track this year is different, as we all know. A part of the chicane in Sector 3 has been removed, and we have just one, well, not big straight, but one straight, let's say. Not quite long enough to really get any sort of, big action, but enough to see a bit of a change to the layout, and the lap time shortened by about 10 seconds. Anyway, for this one, as you can tell, I thought I'd give Cockpit View a go for a change. A little bit dark in areas, so apologies for that, but for the most part, visibility is fine and we can get by. So currently on completely default settings, car isn't really tuned up. As always, we kind of go for a banker with default settings to see how the car feels, and then we'll start making adjustments. So yeah, we're going to go for neutral and go for some baseline engine modes here and see how the car feels as we start our first timed lap. So turn number 1, braking at the 100, down to a 4th gear, clip the inside curb. This is where, of course, we saw Checo spin. Verstappen also had a moment. We have a bit of a lock up on the left front as we make our way to turn 4 or turn 5, not quite sure if they class the kind of straight as a corner. Onto the back straight then. DRS open as we head down the speed trap into the start of Sector 2. Getting the car stopped, decent brakes in this thing. Now right hand hairpin, get the nose in, kick the throttle on to keep the minimum speed high. Now through the left, kind of a double apex left, take a breather, and then into, I believe, turn 10. Try and keep the car tight, and then that will open up the chicane, which we bounce over in third gear through the Anderson Bridge. Whoa, Shades of Massa 2012 on our lap there, and we now get the power down as we open DRS down the back straight here on the anchors, third gear for turn 13 or 14, I believe. And then back on the power as we race down the new back straight area. No DRS here. The drivers did ask for it, but the FIA did not grant. Braking at the 100 as a baseline, keeping in third, then power down on the exit through the final corner. And our first lap is going to be a 1 minute 35.8. So 5 seconds off. We can work with that. Car felt pretty decent, and we can definitely do better. So good baseline. Tyres were cold, so we can definitely also improve that aspect. So time for run number 2. Soft tyres on now. So this is the C4, I believe, and we have a C5 available, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go for neutral on engine mode, same as before, and just try to see if the adjustments help. We've put a bit more front and rear wing on. We've also taken out some fuel, moved the brakes to the rear, and just the car in general is going to be a lot more agile. So here we go. Turn 1, get that inside curb, which is relatively flat. Again, locking up into turn 3. I should maybe look at moving the brake bias a little bit back there. Into turn 5. This time getting the apex, which we didn't get last time, and we're going to get the DRS open a bit earlier. And already you can see on the steering wheel on the top right of the dash, 9/10 up as we brake at the 100 for the brake zone. Clipping the inside curb, back on the power. Bit of a front right lock up on entry there, but car's working well. It's responding to what I'm doing. Had to have a bit of a few corrections there. That was a little bit scruffy into the double left-hander. This is where the soft tyre now should make a difference through these very low mechanical grip sections. We take a bit less inside curb, which unsettled the car on the last run, and no Felipe Massa moment, although we have to correct the hairpin a little bit. 2.5 seconds up as we make our way down the back straight. Braking at 100 again. That seems to be just a general braking point around here for the 90-degree right. And now onto the back straight, taking a slightly tighter line to gain a bit of time. And now into the final chicane. Braking a bit later than the 100, about 90 meters. Short shift to fourth, get the power down earlier. And now the final corner. There we go, up to the line. And it's a lot better. 32.5. That's more like it. I'm confident. I think this is one we can beat. The car feels great. Let's get back to it and let's try and make some more adjustments. So attempt number 3. I reckon we can beat it already on this lap if we hook it up. We're now on the C5 and we are on minimum fuel, so the lowest we can go. And we're now going to run the higher, which is the highest engine mode available besides push, but I think higher might be better for a lap. So let's go for it. This is now going to be pretty much there or thereabouts on the limit. Also guys, if you haven't seen the last episode, go check it out at Monza, link in the top right. Turn 1, that's nice, bouncing over the curb. This time using a bit more rearward brake bias, we avoid the lock-up into turn 3 and we keep it tight on the apex, which is much better for us. Turn 5, on the power, nice and early, C5 tyre working beautifully. Got to go 1.4 seconds quicker, or 1.6 seconds quicker, sorry, to beat the pole lap on this one. Bit of a rear lock there, and we bottom out and hit the wall. So doing a bit of a Perez there in qualifying, or a Verstappen, where he bottomed out on the curb. So we'll try again, hopefully. We've got just enough fuel to get the lap done. Only one way to find out. Well, back end's all crossed up into there. Tyres were okay temperature-wise. To be fair, we haven't lost too much time, even though it was all crossed up. Sometimes we do see drivers actually go faster, driving on the limit like this. That was not a good turn 5 though. Gonna just adjust the brake bias a little bit to the front for the rest of the lap. Getting a bit of rear locking, but we managed to kind of take it in our stride and get a bit of a drift going. Same goes through the hairpin. We'll try and carry a bit more speed through this one, as we had a lot of corrections through there last time, and there we go. That found us a lot of time. Through the long left, to the right, but we get all crossed up again. And I think the brakes are just a bit too much towards the rear, so I jinxed myself trying to say I was going to beat the lap on that attempt. Not so sure now. Here we go then, third time's the charm. I've gone back to the more frontward brake bias at 55. And hopefully the C5 grip will do the rest for us. Right then, underway. Turn 1. Nice and tidy. Don't lock up into 3. Okay, there we go, the tyres delivering the grip. And that was our best section so far. Bit of entry understeer there, as I locked the brakes slightly. So we lost half a tenth through turn 5. Down the back straight, spot 100 on the right. Look up at the inside curve, not ideal, upsets the balance a little bit. Into the hairpin. Inside curve again there, not really ideal. We dropped 3 tenths. We know we can find some time through here. Brushing the outside wall, so we're working already. All of a sudden this episode and this lap just got a whole lot more complicated. Again there, the rear's kind of locking up as the car bounces everywhere. The back end just not settled. Much better through the hairpin that time. A lot tidier, and we get a better exit. Up by 7 tenths, you can see. Braking a bit later and getting the car turned a bit better there. That gained us 2 tenths, that was really nice. Let's see if we can try and get to the 1 second mark through this final part of the lap. A little bit deep there, tried to push the braking. Still gained, but we lost pretty much all the advantage on the exit. Final corner, inside curb, not ideal. And it's a 31.6. So we're nearly there. Real mistake, of course, at the start of sector 2. So I reckon if we just get a clean lap on the board, we can do this. So I'm going to go away now and see if I can deliver that clutch lap. Whoa, what a lap. That was pretty much perfect. All I changed was just a bit more engine mode, which I had in the MGUH from battery to motor, but that does not warrant 1.5 seconds. We pretty much cleaned up all those little areas and mistakes, which were costing me a 10th here, 10th there, and also I pretty much maxed out everything. A couple of small little errors, oversteer moments, but for the most part, you're going to get a bit of that at Singapore. So a really, really good lap, one of the best laps of the series so far. That was pretty much perfect on my first try in sweat mode. So as always, the setup for that lap, as you can see, was the C5 tyre on 21 PSI across all 4 tyres. Fuel set to 3 litres, electronics set to high, and motor, which is the highest available. I'm sure maybe push might have been a bit quicker, but maybe you run out of battery or you clip, so it's not as efficient. So high, I know, is designed for basically the most well-rounded mode possible. Aero, I went for 7 and 6, so a +2 front and a +1 rear. Alignment was default for this one. Dampers default. The car feels great to drive, so you didn't really have to mess around with it too much. Brake bars 55, which I believe is also default, or maybe one less if I'm not mistaken. Dampers also the same, the suspension the same. Unlike the last couple episodes, we haven't really had to change any of this. So yeah, honestly, the car was just a joy to drive, and it feels great when that's the case. But there we have it then, guys. That was today's episode of Can I Beat the Pole Time? We're back on it, and once again we managed to beat the pole lap. So a successful episode here today. Smash the like button, guys. Let's try and get over 1,000 likes. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, as we're very close to 100,000 subs now, guys, and a lot of you still enjoy this series. So if you want to help me out and you're new to the channel, please subscribe for daily F1 content. If you haven't seen the last episode, also go check it out, guys. That will be linked in the top right, as always, at Monza. And yeah, as always, a link down below to all the mods used in this episode. Finally, a big shout out to the channel members for supporting the channel as always. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, guys, cheers for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Adios.